Bigfoot's coming.
It sounds hungry.
I'm hungry.
Got bologna.
All right. It's not Eckrich, Mom.
The eating machine can tell.
I can tell.
Boy's right, Becky. I'll get some Eckrich.
Firm, meaty Eckrich bologna. Made with only selected cuts of meat. No cereal fillers. Taste the difference.
That's Eckrich.
That's our boy.
Our eating machine.
Oh.
Eckrich bologna. Taste the difference.
I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja. I want to chop, 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 chow down. Take chow down to Chinatown. I want to be ninja.
Where is Coca-Cola Texas? It's wherever you find the real thing, the good life with friends and family, and the real refreshment of Coca-Cola Classic. That's Coca-Cola Texas, home of the real thing. Home of the real thing.
What happened was true. The most bizarre and brutal series of crimes in America.
Stop! Stop!
This is the movie that is just as real, just as close,
crazy! You gotta make us stop!
just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another very special episode of the BDC Show. And I gotta tell you, I gotta be straight up and honest with you. This is one that I've wanted to do for a long, long time. And we're finally gonna get to do it. I had the time to do it because I spaced everything out so well. But, basically, some odd years ago, like 4 years ago, in November of like 2021, I went around in GTA Online and got all of the hidden action figures. And Merlin and Kat, collectively, we were known as the Cat Fire Club. We all went around and they joined me at various points. And you'll be able to see that in the video. But I always thought, I should show me collecting each of the 100 hidden action figures and just have that as the background, and then do the whole episode after that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but basically that's what this episode is going to be. So it's going to be me collecting 100 of the action figures and what the payoff for that is in GTA Online. I wanted to do this for a long time. Like I said, this is the first chance I've got to do it. I'm glad you guys are here with me to be able to do this. And I hope you really enjoyed the ASMR episode that we did last Sunday. That was special too. All right, so here we go. Like I said, this is basically just me and the rest of the Catfire Club at certain times picking up all of the action figures in GTA Online. Basically, when I made the video, it's like I spent like maybe 15 seconds or thereabouts on each one. Ooh, did you guys hear that? That was a sick-ass wet fart, dude. It might have squirted out a little bit, if you know what I'm saying, but no, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Nobody knows. Nobody really knows for sure, because I'm just this disembodied voice, and I could be telling the truth, or I could be lying. You have no idea. No way of knowing. So, what's up now, ass? But yeah, anyway, so if anybody's even still playing this game, I mean, will serve as kind of a guide to where all of the 100 hidden action figures are. Or you can actually go over to my other channel. It's called Amateur Barbarian. Oh, check this out. Check this out right here. Oh, this is when like all those killer clowns and shit were like running around during Halloween time. I want to say that this was like early November. It was like right after Halloween, so all of the what do you call it? All the spooky stuff. Like there was like the clown slashers, and then there was also like the car from the movie Christine. Like it was a red car that looked like that from that movie, and it would just like randomly show up, and like you'd have to like get away from it. It was like on fire and shit, and it would like run you over, and that was good times, man. I really these times when we would all get together, the three of us would get together and play. It was so much fun, and it was weird though, because like we had to do it late at night because Cat's from the UK, so it's like when it was 11 o'clock for us over here in the States, or like midnight or whatever, it was like 8 or 9 in the morning over there. So you know what I mean? Either we would have had to get up, either we'd have to play during the day, or play early, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm just, basically my point is that there was a big difference in the time there's a time difference, and we were all just trying to like play together and hang out. But yeah, I really do miss these times. It was just like I was usually smoking weed and playing, but I don't really miss that. Now that I drive a truck, I can't smoke weed because I'm drug tested on a pretty consistent basis. Well, not pretty consistent, but every now and again. I guess the whole idea of having drug tests is for them to not be consistent, because then you could figure out ways around it. But honestly, the last few times I was smoking weed, like I was getting real anxious and like almost having like a panic attack. So I don't miss it at all. I don't even really drink much anymore, like, because the way everything is set up, like the law basically says that the only way I could have alcohol in this truck is if I was shipping it from somewhere. So it can't be anywhere in the cab, and it would have to stay in the trailer, you know. But I don't even know if I've ever hauled any kind of food or no, that's not true, because I've gone to like Cisco, that awful Cisco plant in Houston that took, it was like 8 hours to get unloaded or loaded. I can't even remember if I was coming or going for that one, but yeah, basically, even though I live in the truck and I count it as my house, you can't have any alcohol whatsoever in the cab because it's also a vehicle. So, if you got drunk in here and then try to take off in the truck, you could potentially kill somebody. So, yeah. So I don't even know, what are we up to here? Like 15? No, that's 19 right there, I think. The one you're about to see here is the 19th or the 20th. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. But yeah, I was kind of saying in that first segment there that if you really did want to try to get all of these, you can go to my other channel. It's called Amateur Barbarian. And it's called, there's 2 videos. I split it up in half. I did like the first 50 in one called Action Figure Roundup 1 through 50. And then the other one is called Action Figure Roundup 51 through 100. So, I know, really clever titles. They were live streams. We were actually live streaming and talking, and it's actually pretty funny. A lot of the commentary, that we're talking is pretty funny. I thought it was funny anyway. I don't know. We kind of always had a weird sense of humor, and then Kat never really, and toward the end, he started using a microphone, but we never talked to him. He would send us, in-game texts or messages over the PlayStation. You know how you could send each other messages and stuff, but yeah, like I was saying, these were such good times. It was because see, I had a PlayStation 2 back in the day, in 2000, the early 2000s, and then it was when I moved from Texas to California, it was I immediately, I had a kid, and it was I just kind of stopped. I still played my PlayStation from time to time, but it was I really didn't have time for that. So I missed the PS3. I never owned one of those. And I actually only played it recently for the very first time, a PlayStation 3, when I was living in Indiana. My nieces had a PS3, and I think it was Resident Evil 5 or something like that. I know it was Resident Evil, but I just don't know which one it was. So, I mean, that was all, good times and shit, but yeah, so the first PlayStation I got since having the PlayStation 2 was the PlayStation 4. So I was completely unaware that you could even play online, with other people from all over the world. I didn't know you could do that. I definitely didn't know that you could all talk to each other. So I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I was just man, I remember having a Nintendo when I was a kid, and I was just this is so much better than the Atari, man, because you can actually pause this. When you were playing the Atari, you once you started a game, if your mom was hey, come eat dinner or whatever, you had to turn it off regardless of how far in you were. But with the Nintendo, you could pause the game and go take a shit or whatever you had to do, But yeah, you can see now that Kat and Merlin have joined me. We hold on, listen to this fart. Listen, here's another fart. It's coming up. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Saints preserve us. Am I right? Am I right, or am I right, or am I right? You know what I'm saying? So I turned the engine of the truck off, and it's really, really fucking warm in here. Which I don't know how that's even possible, because it's it's 2 a.m. at the time I'm recording this, doing the voiceover. So, yeah, I don't watch this. Watch Merlin. So, did you see Merlin just eat shit right there? He jumped off that staircase and landed right up against the car. Which I don't know. I thought that shit was funny as hell, but like I said, I've got kind of a weird sense of humor, and it was funny, when I was recording this, I noticed that every time every time we'd pick up one of the action figures that was Princess Bubblegum or whatever her name is, I would say, hey, it's Princess Nipples, dude. I was going to make a compilation of just me saying that, and I might still do it, I don't know, but that shit was funny. I'm like, I say it every single time I pick up one. Because Merlin had like this unhealthy obsession with her. I don't know why. He had like the cars that you could get the Princess Bubblegum wraps for. Like he had all those and everything. And I don't know. I always thought that was really weird. But and then this is the Playboy Mansion one. Oh no, that one's coming up a little bit. It's a grotto, dude. It's a grotto, man. So I turned a little fan on. It's actually blowing me right now. Can't you see I'm getting blown by one of my fans? Yeah, but it's running in the background, so if it starts making a bunch of noise, or if you can't really hear it or if you can't hear me very well, or the fan is like really loud in the background, I don't know. I guess you're just gonna have to suck it up, Buttercup, because I'm not turning it off. I'm fucking sweating like a hooker in church in this motherfucker. So I'm sorry, that was a lot of cursing, I know. Yeah, a few of them have that black screen that pops up. That I forget why that used to pop up. It was something that I can't remember. Like the PlayStation would send you a message or whatever. But yeah, the playground at the public park or whatever. And there's like these people exercising, and then I'm like, hey man, I was driving through the city the other day and saw a bunch of people doing yoga. And yeah, that was true. They were like doing like yoga in the park, and it was like, I remember it became a thing, like where I would just always drive to that park and just plow right through them with whatever car I was driving. So yeah, even though this is on 2 separate live streams, there's no break in this one. It's just all 100 of them. And then you got a special gift at the end, which if you played, you probably know what it is, but I'm going to show you at the very end, and I'll probably even leave some of the commentary in there, just because, that's how I roll, man. And this is also going to be the first episode of the BDC show in a long time where we actually are going to do a full 30 minutes. So that'll be cool, like give you an opportunity to actually, because I remember when I very first started the channel, I'm like, it's going to be 30 minutes every week. Every week we're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. But we ended up kind of like not doing that. So, I mean, we do it every now and again, but when I say we, of course I just mean myself. There's nobody else really doing this. It's just me, my phone, some very rudimentary equipment. It's very low tech, is what I'm saying, the way we do the episodes on this channel. I know a lot of people are like, they have lights and they have like real microphones, and they even have like a thing that reads like a script to them, like kind of like a teleprompter. We don't do any of that here. I set up the backgrounds, I shoot all the footage, and then I just record a voiceover. And I mean, this was all just like taking screenshots from YouTube. So I mean, this week's was actually really easy. I don't know why. Like, I always wanted to do a video with this as the background, but I don't know why I never got around to doing it until now. So I don't know, but it was fun though. But did we already do the one where we're up on the? It's the Vinewood sign, but it's basically the Hollywood sign. I feel like that one's coming up. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think we did, because I noticed my clothes are different, and these were the clothes I was wearing in the second video. The first one had oh yeah, and then Merlin had that old 1940s car. And then I was doing this whole thing where like my character wasn't going to kill anybody. And at that last one, we started a gang attack right when we got there. And so we were being shot at, and I just was kind of like, yo, dude. It happens again later on toward the end, and I actually get killed by the gangsters. But Yeah, that was a really good time because you could hang off the side of that car, like you see how Merlin's doing right there. And then like Cat was on the side of it, and he like jumped off like right into moving traffic, into oncoming traffic, and we were just like, whoa, like that was crazy, like because it actually killed him. Like it's not in this video, but you could see like in the corner it was like Catfire has died, and I was like, man, that really killed him. Like it's crazy. That's why we hung out with him, man, because he always did crazy shit like that. And he was silent, so it was like, what? And also, at the beginning of the video, I posted that that woman singing "I Want to Be Ninja." Man, how funny is that, dude? Like, I remember when that first came out, I was just like, dude, like, what is this? Like, what even is this? She's like, I want to be ninja. And it's crazy because there's like an Asian lady standing right in front of her when she's singing that shit. And it's like, I don't know, if it was me, I would feel like I'd have to stand up for myself and my people, smack the dog shit out of her, you know what I'm saying? Smack the dog shit out of her. But yeah, this is, I think this is like, where is that? I don't even remember where that is. Oh, yeah. Now I remember. But yeah, man, I really do miss these times, you know. It was like... Excuse me. I know. It's such a boring episode that here I am yawning like an asshole. But yeah, I really do miss those times, man. Like, they were so much fun. Oh, I just farted again. I should have recorded it. I should have put the microphone right up to my bunghole and blasted you guys right in the face with that. But I already did one, and I think one is enough. You don't want to overdo it and get all crazy about it. You know what I mean? Because then people will be like, dude, your channel is nasty. You are nasty. That's not what I'm here for, man. No wonder you only got 40 subscribers. Watch this. Merlin just yeets himself over the rail right here. And immediately dies. He ran out the door, just jumped over the rail, and was just like, he just yeeted himself out of there. But what it didn't show is that I actually died too, because that one was at the prison, and you had to run up into one of the guard towers, and it was like on the desk or something, and then it was like, by the time we grabbed it and everything, and I was like looking on my phone where to go to get the next one, some cops had busted in through the door and basically shot me right in the head. Oh, now we got that little Russian car. I can't remember what the name of it was, but that thing could scoot, baby. You know what I'm saying? It could scoot, which is another way of saying that it was fast for all you squares and lames out there. You see Cat just walking right up into the camera, got his overalls on. We call those bib overalls, ladies and gentlemen. You remember like in the early 90s when that was like the fashionable thing to wear, but you had to have like one of the straps down or both of the straps down? Hang on. Trying to strike a lighter while laying right in the path of a small little oscillating fan. That's not going to work out too well, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was the one at the water tanks by the military base. And then this one in the shitters, and then I think we had to take a helicopter after this to the next one, which was out on an island in the middle of the sea. But yeah, see, there it is. I didn't even know you could go in that little cabin in And Merlin's like, yeah, you have to do it for one of the heists. And I had no idea. I was just like, oh, holy shit, that's crazy. And then, yeah, see, that one's covered up by that black box of text. But it's all blurred out because it says something. I don't really remember what, but yeah. And then, which one's this? Oh, yeah, that's at the sawmill. In the, like, little grain elevator or whatever. Good stuff, man. Alright, so we're down to the last 20 or so. This is the one where all of us got caught on fire. Oh! Did you guys hear that? Did the mic pick that one up? Yeah, I'm not gonna actually be sticking the microphone up to my butt to record farts anymore, because I don't know, I think it's just weird. But you know what I always have hated, and I just want to, I don't know why, this is totally random, I don't know why I'm mentioning this now, but those shows about pawn shops where people would bring stuff in, and it was like, they would always be like, oh, let me call this guy. And it's like, why don't you just take your shit to that guy? Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, why is this pawn shop guy even involved? You know, it's like, why don't you just take it to the expert he's going to call instead of dealing with these dipshits? And I don't know, like, that was really weird. It was like the History Channel and the Learning Channel. All of a sudden they're like, oh, here's some people living in the swamp, or oh, here's some people that run a pawn shop. Oh, here's some people that work on a fishing boat. It's like, man, who gives a fuck, dude? You know what I mean? Show me some shit about the Civil War, or, you know, documentaries about World War II. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see this bullshit. How is working in a pawn shop history? You know, how is, you know, oh, this guy drives around in the swamp and kills alligators. It's like, you know whose fault it is those fucking Duck Dynasty guys. Like, they got famous, and then it was like every other channel was like, oh, we can make a show like that. Let's find us some, you know, deranged hillbillies and just put a camera crew with them 24/7. I don't know. I don't know why I'm ranting about that. I don't even know what made me think of it. But it's always like, well, let me call a guy. It's like, oh, I've got this 19th century sword. Oh, let me call this sword expert. Well, the best I can do is offer you $50. And it's like, $50? Man, this is some vintage shit I got here. But I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. But you know what, guys? I lied. Oh, that was a little one. That was just a little baby one. I don't even know if the mic even picked it up. It was so cheap. But yeah. I promised I wouldn't shit on him. So I spread my cheeks and hit him with an absolute screamer. But as you see, we are getting really close to the end. And that one right there was really funny because, like, that NPC just went walking past me, and I thought it was either Cat or Merlin, and I just was like, whoa, like, that guy walked right up on me, man. But yeah, so it's like basically when you're collecting the action figures, oh, that's where I got murked right there, and then look, the guy who killed me died right on top of me. But yeah, when you're doing it, like, once you have 99 of them, the 100th one just kind of appears really close by. So, like, I remember being like, and it won't appear unless you have all of the other 99. So that's always that. I always thought that was kind of weird, but so you basically, like, if you do them in order, they'll pop up. But I know that there was some kind of glitch, like where you like if you didn't do it, like if you went to a spot, like some of them wouldn't be there. And so, oh, here's one of me falling right on my face. Oh, my face! Oh, my face! There was this guy, like, I grew up with, and anytime he would get hurt, that was the first thing he would always say is, oh, my face. And I was just kind of like, dude, it didn't even get anywhere near your face. Oh, wait, here's another one of me falling on my face. Oh, my face! Whoa, what the fuck was that? It sounded like somebody was jiggling my door handle. And here it is right here. There's the 100th one. That's 99, and then see the 100th one appears right on the other side of on that top of that other plane. And then, once we get that one, I'll show you what you get for getting all 100 of these things. That is awesome.
Ready for a trim? Do you know how you want it done? Ooh, ooh. Oh yeah, it's fine. Yep. Come back anytime.
Hey, where the fuck are you going? This video's not over yet. On the contrary, we're just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you thought that was the end? No, man. We are hitting it hard this week. Last week you got 2 episodes on Saturday and Sunday night. And this week you get one that goes longer than 30 minutes. We're already past the 30-minute mark at this point, but we're going to keep going. Why? Because Daddy's got you. I take care of my people, man. I know what you want to see. How are you going to have 2 episodes in a row with no trucking content in it? That's what this channel is all about. If you look at the description of my channel, it says a chronicle of life on the road. So we ended up doing that 34 in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Actually, it was Memphis, Indiana, just north of Jeffersonville. And then we had to go to Danville, Illinois, which is just over the state line. And look at this fucking guy going 40 miles an hour on 65 in the rain. But yeah, it was like an AutoZone distribution center. And so we made our way up through Indiana, right through Indianapolis. I was creeping through the old neighborhood at like 8 or 9 in the morning. You can see it all here. Greenwood, dude. What you know about Greenwood? What you know about County Line Road? That's what we were doing, man. And so yeah, then we got on the loop and we went around to I think it was 74, and that took us all the way into Danville. And then from there we went to the pickup spot. It was originally, like, as it was related to me, it was supposed to be a live load, but then it ended up being a drop and hook. So that was cool. That saved me some time because this is going to be a really tight one because I picked this up on Saturday morning and I have to have it in Laredo, Texas by Monday morning, which is like 1,500 miles. So that means I'm going to have to average like 550 miles a day over the next couple of days just to get it there on time. The dispatchers are kind of aware that this is going to be really tight. So we might end up having to do it a day late, but I'm going to do my best and try to get there. Hopefully we don't get any like bullshit pop tires or anything like that. Any kind of, the traffic in Dallas is going to be bad. The traffic in San Antonio is going to be bad. The construction in San Antonio, oh my God, that's going to be terrible. As you see here, there's this prison right next to where I'm picking up from. Hopefully there's no breakouts while I'm there. But hey, who knows, man? But yeah, the rest of the trip was crazy. Like, it was basically rain the whole day. Later on that night in Indianapolis, they were having a straight up tornado warning. Not a watch, a warning. Like, there was an actual funnel cloud north of 70 in the Circle City. So I decided to stop and get some glizzy shaped food. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, BBL glizzy. BBL glizzy. Woo! Shameless, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because I will get down with a glizzy any old day. And there's a store called Sheets. I don't know if you guys are aware of this store. It's Sheets with a Z at the end, not at the beginning. It's not Sheets. It's Sheets. And they have this thing called the Big Glizzy, which is a huge hot dog. And you guys remember that creepy voice where he'd be like, "Number 6, the Glizzy Gobbler. My friend came out one day and became the Glizzy Gobbler." And then there's always Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want on your Burger King burger is somebody else's foot fungus. But if you get it, that's exactly what you might get. Yeah, you people know what I'm talking about, man. You guys remember that meme? That children's song they used to sing by the sea? Look at that, dude. I almost ate that whole glizzy in just a matter of moments. I got that at a Road Ranger. They have a hot deli there, and they always have these big-ass sausages on sticks. And I even said to the guy, I was like, "Let me get 2 of those big glizzies on a stick." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "The 2 sausages, man. The sausages on a stick." So, since this load was having to go a really long way without a whole lot of time for me to get there, I pushed hard. I figured that if I averaged anywhere between 550 and 600 miles a day, I could easily make it. So these days all started really early. I pushed south through Missouri and then into Arkansas, and everything was going fine for a while. And then I was driving, and all of a sudden, boom! I just heard this really loud explosion at the back of the truck, and it was one of my trailer tires. Usually, like, the tread will come off, and then the rest of it will kind of disintegrate. But this time, it exploded with such force that it started throwing off pieces of rubber immediately. And not only was the tire just completely destroyed, but it also did a number on my mud flap, which meant when I had to call Road Rescue, they had to bring a tire and a mud flap. Of course, that took, I think it took about 3 hours. And it was the weirdest thing. These 2 Mexican guys showed up, but they had like really country accents, like Arkansas accents, which, I don't know, I thought it was really strange, but yeah, so I was stranded at the South Fork truck stop in Gurdon, Arkansas, I think was the name of it. So when the guys finally showed up, though, they forgot the mud flap. So I basically had to follow them up to the TA in Prescott, or Prescott, as they call it, to get that fixed, or to get the mud flap fixed. I felt bad because I walked in and the lady immediately was like, "They forgot the mud flap?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I felt like I was snitching on them, which I didn't really want to do. I just wanted to get my mud flap. So this other big old country guy fucking came out and put my mud flap on, which I totally appreciated. But then it was like the whole drive through Texas is just, it's a monstrous state. I love it. I like the drive, especially when you're going east to west and you're like in the trees like you see here. And then, scary. And then like the closer west you get, you start to see, like first the trees get shorter, and then it's bushes, and then it's nothing but desert. And since we were going all the way to Laredo, that was pretty much what we were gonna be seeing. And we stopped for the night here in Abbott, Texas, which is about 40 miles north of Waco. And then I figured I could push the rest of the way to Laredo, which was about 350, 360 miles from where I was. This is a really nice rest area. I went inside, used their facilities and their vending machines. I have no complaints about that. No complaints on my behalf. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? So this is Austin, and it's kind of hard to see, but if you look really carefully in the background, you can see the Charlie Whitman Tower at the University of Texas at Austin, which is where in 1966 he killed like 15 or 16 people shooting from that perch up there. And this is San Antonio. I don't really care for San Antonio. It seems like that entire town is under construction. And not just like fixing potholes. It's shit like this. Entire bridges that they're fixing. When I finally got to Laredo, the consignee was a total shit show. They had trucks parked all the way down the street. Well, first I went to the wrong gate. And they're like, no, you got to go to the other gate. And that was 30 minutes wasted right there. Then I had to go wait in this long-ass line. And once I did that, that was like another hour wait. Then I finally get up to the gate after people are like cutting in line and just being fucking assholes. I finally get up there and they're like, okay, well, when we have a door for you, we'll call you. And I'm like, well, where do you want me to wait at? And they're like, oh, you got to go back out on the street. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? But at least like when they said that I could come back in and I didn't have to wait in the line. But so I parked at the company terminal where you got guys wearing shorts like this, little cheerleader shorts, acting like they're fucking DEA agents. They think everybody's smuggling, and they're like, well, we got to check everything out, man. We got to look at everything real super close, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so what? Like, get a life. I got better things to do with my time. So I had to pick up the next morning, and then it was off to Indiana. Woohoo! So, when we went to the shipper in Laredo after spending the night at the terminal, which was basically like a maximum security prison, I showed up at this yard and was like, look at how small this motherfucker is. Holy shit. I got loaded pretty quick, and that was cool, but I had a real hard time getting my load, like my weight distribution right. And then I realized there's no way I was going to be able to do it without changing my fifth wheel. But look at how rusted this thing was. I haven't had to like move my fifth wheel in like at least a year. So yeah, I ended up having to take it and getting it done. And that took hours. And they only gave me back my truck right before they were getting ready to close. So I was stuck in near Laredo again. It is total bullshit. So I actually ended up knocking off early because it just took up way too much time and a big part of my day. So I ended up knocking off early, stopping at a truck stop, and getting some sleep. There was a bunch of other shit that went on. My ELD was fucking up. I had to change a light bulb. Ugh. It was just one of the worst days I've ever had as a truck driver. And I don't mean that lightly. I mean that completely seriously. So I pulled over in, I don't even remember, Lytle, Texas, I think. Which is like 30 miles southeast of San Antonio, southwest of San Antonio. And then it was like I was going through basically all the old places that I went through on my way down here. I went through San Antonio, which was actually pretty good, even though I got there like right at rush hour time. And then it was basically 35 north until I got to Austin, which, the thing about San Antonio and Austin both is that they're just filled with construction. It's just total bullshit. Like, I hate driving through construction because construction creates traffic, and traffic creates people acting unpredictably. And I mean, look at the length of this video. We are 45 minutes or so into this episode, and we are still just in Austin. Holy fucking shit, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but anyway, we were able to really like hammer down, and once we got through Dallas, which also had its share of construction and traffic, the thing is once you get out of Texas, then things really start moving quickly, because then you're like driving through like Arkansas and Tennessee, Kentucky, and then, you're moving quick because they're so, the states are so small, but just such a pain in the ass. But I did stop at Duke's on Interstate 30, which is a gas station / truck stop in Texas, just before you get out into Arkansas. Got some barbecue. Everything was all good. We were able to reset. I really just want to get rid of this fucking load and be done with it. I'm so over it, but we need some funny shit, so here's some funny shit for you. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
You gotta answer this. You gotta.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you got to give them the hot turd, spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hot turd, spit on it.
So once we got out of Texas, we got into Arkansas and started driving. I figured if I could hit 600 miles on this day, I could probably make the delivery on time. There was a truck on fire on the side of Interstate 30, which was pretty fucking crazy. They had the whole other side of the interstate blocked off for miles, but yeah, it's weird. Like, once you get out of Texas, everything just kind of starts clicking. Like, you can just start chopping through states. So we basically took the same route back that we did coming there when we left Illinois to go down to Laredo. The only difference was, instead this time, when we got to where 57 and 70 meet, we hung a right on 70 and went toward Indianapolis. It took us a little while to get there, but I was able to knock out 600 miles. I think I ended up doing like 614 or something like that, which we all know the record is 651. It was actually 650.9, but let's just call it 651. It is what it is, I'm thinking that probably after this... Oh, wait, hold on, wait, listen to this. You thought we were done with that? Hell no. And then this is in Missouri, a.k.a. Trump country, I guess. I have seen some crazy Trump shit in my journeys. I saw one where it was a picture, it was a painting, but it was a billboard-sized painting, and it was Jesus and Trump hugging. And of course, Jesus had his back to the, Trump was facing the fucking facing out, because fucking ego and shit. I'm not like one of those people that like dislikes him, like, just for being who he is. Like, I just like him because he's a politician, and I don't like any politicians, I'm like, my whole thing is, it's two groups. Okay, actually, it's one group of millionaires and billionaires, the ruling elite, but they're playing roles like there's two groups, but they're all in it together. They're all out to get rich, and while the rest of us fucking starve. So I don't care for any of them. If you're an elected official, you can go take a flying fuck for all I care. I'm so detached from the political bullshit. Like, I don't vote. I used to vote. Like, I voted in every election since I turned 18. I should have known, though, because the first presidential election I was allowed to vote in was the one in 2000 with Bush and Gore. I had turned 18, like, in 97 or 98, I think. No, 97. And, you know, my whole life, everybody told me, like, you gotta vote. Like, you know, your vote matters. Like, it's your civic duty. Your voice counts. And then in the very first election, my voice didn't count. It was actually decided by the Supreme Court. Because it was all that, you know, the hanging chads and the recounts and all that. So, yeah, my vote didn't count. It fucking didn't count for shit. We ended up stopping in, I think it was Greenup, Illinois, for the night, which seemed like a pretty good place to stop because it's like just before the Indiana border. And, you know, I went ahead and changed my ELD to Eastern time because basically as soon as you cross the Indiana state line from Illinois, you're in a different time zone. So yeah, that's what we did. And then we just kind of hung out and people watched. It was a really busy truck stop. It seemed like there was people coming in and out all night. I mean, yeah, it's a truck stop. You'd expect that. But I mean, a lot of times the people, there's kind of a quiet time where everybody kind of chills and you don't really hear or see anything for a while. But boy, this episode got really long really fast, didn't it? It's all right. You guys know you love it. Don't act like you don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. If you're actually still watching at this point, I don't know. I wish I had some treats to give you, or a little gold star or something to stick on your forehead. So after we woke up, we started early again, and we finally got into Indiana. This is that new rest area. It looks like the racetrack in Indianapolis. It's pretty dope. But a funny thing happened on the way in to Indianapolis. I took a wrong exit. I jumped the gun a little bit. And I ended up driving straight to the departure lanes of the Indianapolis International Airport, which was fucking crazy because, like, I had to go on the outside because the awning wasn't, like, tall enough for me to fit under, so I had to, like, stay on the outside. Like, nobody was in danger or anything like that, but it was just, like... And the speed limit was 10, and, like, so everybody, like, that was, like, getting out of cabs and getting out of cars at the loading curb was, like, turning around looking. I was this close. You can't see it, but I'm making a little pinch hand gesture. I was that close to beeping my horn, but I was like, you're already fucking up driving on a road you're not supposed to be on, so maybe you should just keep your horn to yourself. Like I always say, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but beep, beep, you know? So, yeah, we finally made it up to Muncie, and I have to tell you, look at this fog right here. See how crazy that shit is? It is as if cotton is in my mouth. So, yeah, we finally made it up there. It was out in the middle of fucking nowhere. When I finally got there, like, it was a real pain in the ass to check in. Like, I had to, like, go down to this other building and, like, flip a U-turn in there. I ended up tearing up a bush. I'm not even making that up. That's a 100% true story. And then this was their yard when I finally did get in. Super tight. Tighter than the one I picked up at in Laredo. It took me a good 10 minutes just to get set up. Just to get set up, ladies and gentlemen. And I could tell that the guy that was basically unloading me, I could tell he was bothered with me. But I didn't really give a fuck, man. Like, I was about to hand him the keys and be like, you want to try it? All right, then. STFU. You know what I'm saying? Till you walk a mile in my moccasins, homeboy. Shit, I'll call ICE on that motherfucker. No, I'm just playing. I jest. Or am I? Am I jesting? You make the call. Because when we're this deep into the episode, when we're closing in on 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen, I will assure you, this is most definitely going to be the longest episode ever. Sorry, when I'm recording these voiceovers, there's actually a thunderstorm going on, and I thought it was somebody fucking with my truck. Getting a little paranoid here. That's what happens when we're almost 60 minutes deep. When we're 60 minutes balls deep into this episode. This is the longest episode in the history of the BDC show, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're still here after watching for this long, I have to give you your props. Or as the kids say these days, I have to give you your flowers. And it is confirmed, it was confirmed by dispatch that I am going on a 34. Not after this one, but I'm basically going to Marion, Ohio, a place I know really well, and I am dropping off, whatchamacallit. I'm dropping off my empty trailer, picking up a loaded trailer, and then taking that to one of our drop yards in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I'm going to be taking my 34. And also, I love that yard because it's like tucked back. I mean, there's other warehouses around, but it's like tucked away. And this is going to be like a legit weekend off. So like, I'm actually going to be able to have Saturday and Sunday off. I don't have to go back to work until Monday. And aside from trucks coming in and out, this place is going to be super quiet. Because most of these yards are like right off of a main road. But this one's like tucked back away with like trees and shit all around. So I'll actually be able to get some sleep. The only drawback is there's no showers, there's no laundry, there's no facilities, but I can call DoorDash in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And hey, if I need to take a shower, I'll just grab my soap, go out in this storm, strip down butt naked. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck about nothing. Haven't you been watching the show? Haven't you been watching the goddamn show? Well, if you're not watching, you need to be watching, because this is definitely the longest episode we've ever done. This is a momentous occasion, and you are here to celebrate it. All right, so we went through the back roads of Indiana to get to Ohio. We actually didn't take an interstate until we got to, after we picked up our new trailer that we were taking to the drop yard. It was pretty cool. I mean, I was ready to take my 34, but it was like, I kind of like when we're back on these country roads, because, you know, you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, it's just super chill, nothing to like freak out about. Plus, there's not as much law enforcement. Look at all that corn, man. Bunch of cornholing assholes right there, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not calling anybody a cornholing asshole. I'm just saying that that's a lot of fucking corn, dude. I like Indiana, like, and Ohio for that matter. I mean, for the most part. Because Indiana especially is flat. So I can literally just set the cruise control and just chill. Just steer it. I don't have to, like, worry about, you know, hills and shit. But anyway, God, this has been such a long episode. I don't know what possessed me to make one this long, but that's what we ended up doing. So don't expect something like this every week. This is, if you sat and watched this entire thing, then holy shit, like, you are just an amazing person, and I hope that you're subscribed. But speaking of subscribers, I looked and noticed that we have 41, and I'm not sure who that 41st subscriber is, because they did so anonymously, which is fine. You can be anonymous. I tell my numerous sexual partners that all the time, that everything in this world should be anonymous. But what do I know, you know? I'm just a dumb truck driver. Should have stayed in school. You know what I mean? I mean, I like what I'm doing and everything, but I should be making more money than this. And I never should have got married. I mean, we could have had the kid without having to get married. But I don't know. California's a fucked up place. They probably are still like, well, you lived together for so long. You have to give half your shit to someone who hates your fucking guts for the rest of your life. So, I don't know. But I had fun this week. We started it off with the 100 action figures and all that. And then we drove basically all the way from Laredo to Columbus, Ohio in a very roundabout way. So I'm glad you guys got to be along with us. And I want to say goodnight to everybody except for people who use brakes on the on-ramp. I want to say goodnight to everybody except people who camp out in the left lane. I want to say goodnight to everybody except for people who chill in my blind spot. I want to say goodnight to everybody except for anybody who rolls with the DOT. I want to say goodnight to everybody except people who grow corn. I want to say goodnight to everybody except the people who don't have a pink tip. I want to say goodnight to everybody except dirty tip touchers. I want to say goodnight to everybody except dirty teddy bears. I want to say goodnight to everybody except, I don't know. I'm totally used up, as you can hear and as you can see. We have to cut this episode short, and Ruth Buzzy better watch her back. Her and Eve Plum, they're both on my list, and I'm fixing to start running through both of them. I think they're both dead, but I don't know. Well, I think Eve Plum is still alive, but I think Ruth Buzzy died in, last year, I think. Remember on Laugh-In when she used to, swap people with her purse and shit? Anyway, see you next week, folks.